Seven. Over here. Seven. Over here. Look here. Look here. Seven. Look here. Seven over here. Seven. Over here. Seven. Smile.
Which controversial characters might be keeping the House of Mouse off of Disney Plus? This show pulled in 25 million viewers at its peak, and now it isn't available to stream. Oh, and 80s kids, you might need to sit down for number 6 on this list. I'm Seven McAllister for 7 Entertainment. Let's take a look at 7 more big TV shows you can't watch on streaming. Yeah, that's right, we keep getting so many good comments on the subject. We're just gonna keep doing it. Screw it. Now, before we get into this, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoy this video, please subscribe to the channel. It's just one little clickety-click. We're going to see each other all the time. It'll be great. Also, we appreciate that there are a wide variety of ways to still see these shows. Legal, like, buying them digitally, and less legal. Hey, we're not judging. You do you. Also, some of these are available on FAST channels, the free ad-supported TV, but they aren't available on demand to binge. Number 1, Louie. Thanks to KWallace0307 for this one. When Louie premiered in 2010, it was like someone shoved a TV camera right in the middle of Louis C.K.'s psyche and let the chaos breathe. The show was this weird, mesmerizing blend of comedy, heartbreak, surreal interludes, New York City grit, awkward family moments, and stand-up bits that felt like psychiatric sessions disguised as punchlines. Critics didn't just like it, they loved it. It sat on the top 10 list year after year, boasting universally acclaimed seasons and a Metacritic score in the please never ever ever stop making this show range. And the awards, oh believe you me, there were awards like Squirrels Have Nuts in Autumn, I don't know where that analogy came from, multiple Primetime Emmy Awards including wins for Outstanding Writing, stacks of Critics' Choice Awards, AFI honors, Writers Guild trophies, the kind of hardware that makes other awards look like participation ribbons. So why is this beloved, critically acclaimed masterpiece basically gone from the modern streaming world? Well, buckle up, because it's a mystery equal parts licensing labyrinth and Hollywood moral calculus. The show used to be floating around services like Hulu, but its license expired and those digital rights evaporated into the ether. Layer on top of that the fact that FX and its partners cut ties with Louis C.K. in the wake of his 2017 misconduct revelations, meaning networks became super cautious about distributing content closely identified with him. Suddenly, Louis is more like Bigfoot than a streamable TV show. The only current legit way to watch all 5 seasons is through Louis C.K.'s own website, where you can buy a streaming license for a set price and watch it there. Yeah, really. Which means that this cultural darling, adored by critics, beloved by fans, now exists in a weird no-man's streaming land, simultaneously cherished and just out of reach, unless you want to hand over $30 to some strange website. Number 2, Suddenly Susan. Hey, big thanks Tay Swift, 1989 T1P for this one. Back when NBC still believed 9 sitcoms a season was just like the norm, Suddenly Susan launched in 1996, nestled between monster hits Seinfeld and ER. For a glorious moment, it pulled in nearly 25 million viewers per episode. Yes, millions with an M, proving that America was fascinated by Brooke Shields navigating single life and office politics in a hip San Francisco magazine, even if critics weren't totally sold. Or it's possible people just didn't want to change the channel between Seinfeld and ER. And if you're young and you're not really familiar with how TV worked before streaming, if you need a frame of reference, Suddenly Susan was not considered a massive hit, and it pulled in 25 million viewers, while today, CBS's Tracker, which is considered the biggest broadcast hit going, averages around 17. Just mind-blowing. Susan Keen's journey from jilted bride to magazine columnist was water cooler fodder for a while. The show even earned Golden Globe nominations for Brooke Shields and snagged a Primetime Emmy nomination during its run. The cast had charisma, the workplace banner was breezy, and for at least a season or two, millions of folks tuned in, only to watch ratings nosedive once NBC shifted its schedule and the better shows around it began collapsing like a poorly built souffle. But here's the cruel punchline of modern television nostalgia. Suddenly Susan is basically a streaming unicorn. It isn't on Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, Peacock, any of the big platforms. According to current listing tracking services, you can buy or rent seasons on places like Amazon Video or Fandango at Home, but there's no free streaming tier where you can just plop down and binge it the way you would with like almost every other 90s sitcom. Well, why? Well, welcome to the nightmare that is the TV rights labyrinth. Shows from the 90s were sold and resold between studios, networks that had syndication deals long before streaming even existed, meaning whoever actually controls the episodes and music rights now have zero incentive to cut a clean, cheap digital license. And in that suddenly Susan hasn't enjoyed the same nostalgic fan revival cloud as bigger sitcom giants like Friends, its availability stays stuck in limbo. So while it was once big enough to be part of must-see TV, ironically, today, suddenly Susan is very difficult to actually see. All right, if you're enjoying this video, do us a solid, hit the subscribe button so we can hang out again sometime soon. Number 3, Grounded for Life. Thank you to Bernie Davis 6676 for this one. Back in early 2000s, the Grounded for Life was a sitcom for people who said, yeah, family sitcoms can be fun, but let's get real about how chaotic families can be. It followed the Finnerty family, Irish Catholic, working class, smart mouth, and perpetually one crisis away from disaster. With a blend of heartfelt moments and sharp, chaotic humor, audiences remembered it long after its ABC Fox run had ended. The show was full of quotable one-liners, and the show earned enough goodwill and even a Primetime Emmy nomination to be underrated yet loved by its fans. But here's the cruel twist in the sitcom tale. Grounded for Life seems to have drifted off into a digital Bermuda Triangle of content. At various points it showed up for purchase or in limited streaming form, but most of the time now the title is simply unavailable, even on services like Amazon Prime Video, where its pages still exist, but episodes are marked as unavailable due to expired rights. Now, nostalgia hunters on Reddit have repeatedly scratched their heads over the fact that a show many fans consider a hidden gem isn't hanging out on any major streaming service or mainstream platform. The disappearance doesn't seem to be because it wasn't good. Many fans still enthusiastically praise its cast and its humor, but because the streaming rights simply expired and no new deals have been cut. Unlike modern shows that get shuffleboarded from streamer to streamer with every new rights deal, older sitcoms often get caught in a bureaucratic tug-of-war between studios, music rights owners, and distribution companies, and Grounded for Life unfortunately got swept up in that mess, and now you're left with DVD box sets or dusty YouTube clips as your only legal options to rewatch the Finnerty family's adventures. Also, apparently, the show is being broadcast on Fubo, that's one, but there are only a handful of episodes actually available to watch on demand. In other words, it's beloved, it had its moment, and now it is frustratingly not where you expect it. Classic case of nostalgia, but let's make it legally inaccessible. Number 4, the Mary Tyler Moore Multiverse. All right, big thank you to Sir Jedi Sentinel for bringing this one to our attention. We fell down a whole rabbit hole on this one. All right, let's get this straight. The Mary Tyler Moore Show didn't just win hearts, it birthed an entire television extended universe long before Marvel made multiverses cool. A sitcom about Mary Richards navigating newsroom politics and interpersonal chaos in Minneapolis was a hit because it gave audiences fully formed characters with real flaws, hilarious quirks, and wardrobes that somehow made pantsuits look aspirational. And by the mid-1970s, it was churning out spin-offs like a sitcom conveyor belt. You got Rhoda, Phyllis, and Lou Grant, a trifecta of offshoots no other sitcom could match. Here's your quick tour of the spin-off constellation. You got Rhoda. You followed Mary's brusque, babushka chic best friend back to New York City, where she has snappy one-liners and a chaotic love life. It was on from 1974 to 1978. You got Phyllis, gave Mary's overbearing former landlady her own gig in San Francisco, complete with new neighbors and an existential crisis or two. That was between 75 and 77. Then you've got Lou Grant, which is easily the most daring of them all. It turned Ed Asner's curmudgeonly news boss into a serious drama lead set in the newsroom of a Los Angeles newspaper, ran from 77 to 82, and it even snagged some Emmys. So why aren't any of these three comfortably lounging on Netflix or Hulu alongside Mary itself? It's a glorious combination of rights headaches and economic calculus. Studios often sell streaming rights to the biggest revenue stream, usually the original show, and neither don't bother or can't negotiate affordable deals for the spin-offs. Cassette-era contracts never accounted for digital platforms, so unraveling who owns what, music, distribution, international rights becomes a negotiation labyrinth. That's why Rhoda and Friends mostly show up on dusty old DVDs or random YouTube uploads rather than on major services. So while Mary Richards still streams, her friend's solo adventures are stuck in the bargain bin of TV history. A reminder that some spin-offs age like fine wine, and others age like hats that are chucked onto city streets and left to rot. Number 5, House of Mouse. Thank you, Sam McGowan3954 for this one. Although we heard from a lot of people on this one, that's just the name he wrote down. Speaking of multiverses, for a few golden seasons in the early 2000s, House of Mouse was basically the Disney multiverse before multiverses were cool. The premise was deliciously meta Mickey and his pals running a swanky nightclub where every animated Disney face you could think of dropped by to eat, chat, and watch classic cartoons together. It was a pop culture crossover hit for kids who grew up watching Hades, schmoozing with Maleficent, or Princess Jasmine hanging out with Ariel, a big, whimsical love letter to Disney's animated history. But here's the dirty little secret of the Disney Plus era. Despite being beloved by fans and practically begging to live forever in streaming glory, House of Mouse is not on Disney Plus. And no, it's not because Disney hates nostalgia, because Lord knows they make mega bank off of it. No. The real villain in this tale, say it with me, rights and logistics. The show was a mashup of dozens of characters and animated segments from across Disney's vast catalog. Each appearance, from Mickey's gang to those vintage shorts they threaded in episodes, comes with its own legal, licensing, and music rights baggage. Clearing all of that for modern streaming isn't a simple flick of Mickey's gloves. It's a mountain of legal paperwork, potential payouts to voice actors and rights holders that Disney apparently hasn't bothered to tackle yet. Add into that some of these shorts, some of the cameos from animated characters might include content Disney now considers complicated. Think dated cultural depictions that they don't want to have front and center, like these fellas, you know them from Song of the South? Yeah, suddenly it becomes a lot easier for Disney to just, not. So what you're left with, House of Mouse exists on YouTube and maybe some DVD sets on eBay, that would command some collector prices. Cult classic trapped in digital limbo while Disney plays streaming logistics behind the scenes. Number 6, 3, 2, 1, Contact. Oh, thank you, Cappy LaRue, for this one. And maybe, if you're an 80s kid like I am, maybe grab a box of tissues while we talk about this lost gem. If Sesame Street is big kid TV royalty and Electric Company is its funky cool aunt with the jazzy themes and quick cuts, well, 321 Contact was that earnest middle school nerd cousin with taped up glasses who actually made science look like an adventure. It ran from 1980 to 1988 on PBS, tackling real science questions with actual kids as hosts, clever animation, and reoccurring gems like the Bloodhound Gang. Oh, so good. A noir-flavored kid detective segment where a trio of teens solve mysteries with a scientific method. Yes, mysterious kidnappings and pinhole camera escapes counted. Got world-traveling experiments about everything from cows to lightwave. Sure, it never had the household ubiquity of Sesame Street or the pop culture cachet of Electric Company's Letterman sketches and star cameos, but ask any 80s kid with an inexplicable soft spot for fizzing beakers and funky theme songs, and they will tell you 321 Contact was everything. So why can't you stream it? Well, welcome to the realm of education TV rights purgatory. For starters, 321 Contact never got a proper DVD release, and plans for one apparently don't exist, meaning there's no polished master files ready to upload. Unlike big franchise titles that get reshuffled to the highest bidder for streaming dollars, the Children's Television Network, now Sesame Workshop, engineered the show partly as a classroom resource. For years, teachers were encouraged to tape it and share it, not to monetize it. And combine that with tangled funding resources, murky rights for the music and footage, and the fact that producers never carved out obvious digital distribution deals back in 1980, suddenly your dreams of binge-watching 321 Contact with your own kids morphs into a scavenger hunt through VHS rips and random YouTube clips. In other words, it's not gone, just buried under decades of licensing paperwork and nostalgia dust. Number 7, WWE Tough Enough. All right, another thank you to K Wallace 0307 for this one. Hey, you bookended it. Good job, buddy. Now, I know some of you are going to be like, a wrestling show, hard pass. Well, I don't care about the art of glass blowing, but I still watched Blown Away on Netflix. It's fascinating. And yes, I did laugh every time they said the word glory hole. But even if you're not a wrestling fan, brother, this show is fascinating. This is the original WWE, you think you want to be a pro wrestler, but this fake stuff actually really hurts reality show. Back in the early 2000s, Tough Enough wasn't just another cable blip, it was appointment TV for wrestling nerds who wanted a mix of real dreams, real sweat, and real people getting thrown into the ring and occasionally out of the ring. It was rough, unpolished, unlike any other reality competition at the time. Part wrestling boot camp, part character study, and all chaos. What made the early seasons awesome wasn't just the chance to see future WWE stars starting as complete unknowns, it was the vulnerability of that moment when hopefuls banged their knees into the mats, got yelled at by Al Snow and Taz, or tried to wrap their heads around what this business actually demands. And then there was the infamous Triple H moment. In season 1, the episode The Rules of the Game, Triple H shows up to lay down the straight-up reality of WWE life, grueling travel, brutal schedules, and a lifestyle that will likely end up with bad knees, a substance abuse issue, and a divorce. It wasn't long before one contestant straight up quit on camera after hearing exactly what the business entails. That wasn't scripted drama. That was a wake-up call that said wrestling is no joke. So where can you stream it now? That is the bummer. Unlike today's polished reality competition franchises that get dusted off for digital resurrection, the early Tough Enough seasons aren't readily available on the big streaming platforms in a complete searchable form. While some seasons have popped up on Peacock in limited fashion, access is sporadic at best, and rights issues mean whole chunks of the show are hard to find, leaving most fans hunting through scattered clips, unfinished uploads, or obscure releases. Well, there's our list. Did I leave out any other big shows you can't find on streaming? If so, please let us know in the comments section below. Also, if you're enjoying this video, this series, please subscribe to the channel. We'd love to see you again. Till next time, I'm Seven McAllister for Seven Entertainment saying bye-bye.